Alright, it's round 4. Here are some more questions I get asked very often. I'm going to answer them here. Please never ask me these questions again. Do you do what you do full time? Yes. So I do voice acting, and I do YouTube, and I do, all sorts of things related to both. And yes, I do it all full time. Officially, I think, quit my day job at this point maybe 6 years ago? 6, 7 years ago? Something like that. I've been working full time, doing this for a while. If you weren't doing what you do now, what would it be? God, I don't even want to think about it. Like, when I was younger, I was like, maybe I'll be a teacher, or maybe I don't know. I don't know. I really didn't have a secure backup plan. Before this, I was tutoring English as a second language and just kind of doing that. But all that whole time on the side, I was always working away at YouTube, or more so voice acting. So I don't know. I think I just would have still been doing that. I just didn't have. I was like, I just want to do this. So I just want to do voice acting so bad. I'm just gonna keep working towards it. So I guess that's maybe what I'd still be doing now. I don't know. Will you do more name that anime opening videos? For those, it's not a matter of us not wanting to do them. It's that they get copyright flagged all the time. As fun as they are to do, not economically feasible, because just losing a whole day's worth of income, that hurts. So I, as much as I enjoy those videos, probably not, just because they get copyright flagged very easily. What's the worst anime you've ever seen? I get asked this a lot, and the thing is, I don't really have a great answer, because if a show's really bad, I don't really watch more than one episode, or if it's not for me. Like, for example, one show I watched like one episode of and I was like, I don't want to watch more, is No Game No Life. But is that the worst anime I've ever seen? I don't know. What counts as the worst anime I've ever seen? I looked at my Anime News Network account, which has everything I've watched in completion. And I think technically the worst anime I watched from start to finish, and I have no idea why I watched this. This was back in like 2006. I was still I was like 15. And that was Guardian Ninja Mamoru? Kagekara Mamoru, or Guardian Ninja Mamoru. You'll never have heard of it because it's a completely mediocre show. I just watched it. It was stupid. So I think that's technically the worst anime I have seen from start to finish. Because there are other things, like I really dislike the third Evangelion reboot movie, but I also acknowledge that there is merit to it. So I can't say it's definitively the worst thing I've seen. Or like 5 centimeters per second. I really don't like that movie at all. But I acknowledge there is value. Kagekara Mamoru, I think, has little to no value. If you had to give up either manga or anime, which would you give up? This is kind of a loophole, but I choose anime because there are a lot of anime adaptations of manga. Like, I love manga. I've especially, in the past couple of years, been in a huge resurgence of reading more manga, as you can see in the background. Yeah, I've always loved anime more. And if I had to give up one, sorry, manga. I love manga, but I get the pluses of anime, and sometimes I'll get some manga or anime adaptations of manga if I'm lucky. How fluent are you in Korean? If you haven't seen that skit I did, not very fluent. I can understand a lot. Like, my parents use a mix of Korean and English, and I can understand it very, fluently. However, speaking, I speak like a child. Like, it's very poor. If I am forced to speak Korean, like when I visited Korea, I find I can speak better if I'm just pushing the deep end and just have to communicate. But if I am, not in that scenario or situation for a while, I get rusty. I can understand quite a bit, but I cannot speak it very well. What type of music do you listen to? So, for those of you who don't know, music is one of the big weak spots in terms of my media knowledge. I think I'm pretty knowledgeable about movies. Television, yeah. Like, I I watch a lot of anime, obviously. Know a lot about manga. Know a lot about board games. Music, the only things I listen to are like anime openings, video game music, K-pop, and random shit. If you ask me, like, do you know this popular song? Chances are I either only know the chorus or I don't know it. I have an embarrassingly low knowledge of popular music, or what everyone knows as music. When I go to karaoke, I'm like, I don't know a lot of these songs. So yeah, I listen to anime and K-pop. That's kind of it. Do you have any interest in directing? I think when people ask us, they're talking about voiceover directing. I think voiceover directing would be cool, but it's so time consuming. Like, everyone I know who voiceover directs has no free time, because you got to direct everyone in the show, and that takes up all your time. I think for me, in order to justify doing it, or both, it'd have to be something I'm really passionate about. It was like a dream project, and it'd have to pay really well to make up for all that time I'm spending. Because I find that with a lot of people who direct, they're like, I have less time for acting, but I love acting. So I think I'd be more interested in casting, just because I think that way I could like hear people's auditions and maybe pick the best person. I think that could be fun. But actual directing, while I think would be rewarding, is not something I think I have time for at the moment. Okay, what's your favorite voice to do as a prank? Or do you prank people with your voices? Do you mess with your friends with voices? Blah, 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 blah. All this whole variation on this, like, when you're pranking? I don't prank? Like, I don't know. Do a lot of you do pranks? Are we 12? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I find that I'm not like, hey guys, let me show you the voices I can do. It's not. I feel like people who are like that, I tend to get really annoyed by. Voices that I do just kind of like for fun. Strong Bad comes up every now and then. You know, hey, how's it going? It's me, Strong Bad, you know. Like sometimes I do a Russian accent when playing board games for no reason. But even then, not that much. I don't know. It's not something I do too often. The closest answer I have is I can do a really good impression of my brother, to the point that I can trick my mom, and she gets really annoyed. She's like, oh, it's you. Yeah, so that's the closest thing to a prank I can do with a voice. Subs or dubs? Okay, I've answered this so many times. Subs or dubs? I think both are fine. If it's anime, I almost always watch subbed, because I'm a big fan of Seiyu. I always have been. So I would generally watch stuff subbed. If I'm in it, sometimes I'll watch it dubbed. If Anne-Marie wants to watch it with me and she wants to watch the dub. But I don't go, we have to watch the dub because I'm in it, But I'd say 99% of the time with anime, I watch it subbed. With video games, I will actually compare the casts, and if the game has the feature where I can like switch between the two, usually the first hour of the game is me switching between hearing, Japanese voices, hearing English voices, and choosing it that way. Because for some reason with games, sometimes I'm like, oh, I really like the English voices more. I'm gonna go with that. I think maybe with the games also, you're gonna be hearing those voices so much longer. I want to make sure that I like what I'm listening to. With the show, it's, I guess, less important, I guess. Alright, those are questions I get asked all the time. Never ask me these questions again. Thanks, bye!